Look at the adjective. Play.
And I have half the brain that you do. I told you. Oh, God.
Now is the franchise going to take the Viagra?
Gonna put the butts in the seat.
Hello there, wrestling fans, and welcome to episode 72 of Because WCW, the podcast where the big boys play. My name is the Twisted Genius Dean A.S., and I'm joined as ever by my esteemed co-host, sports journalist and features editor of hookedonwrestling.co.uk, Liam Happ. Liam, how you doing?
Well, my head's still spinning today, Dino, because I can't believe I'm saying this, but I had my house to myself for a large portion of today, and I'm still struggling to get over that. My darling daughter started reception. Well,
right.
She's starting very gradually. The way they do it, I think it's part COVID related and part it's just how they do it with the first batch, the first year at primary school, to ease them in so they don't get too anxious or nervous.
Yeah.
She did a morning last week on its own, just one morning, and she was in today for a morning plus her first school lunch, her first cooked school lunch, which she absolutely enjoyed. My wife went into the office as well, and there I was with the house to myself up until about 1:30. And I would say that I was struggling with emptiness syndrome, but that would be a lie. I absolutely loved it. Do you know how long it's been, Dean, since I've been able to just sit around my house butt naked?
Well, I was going to ask you how the cramps are now.
The cramps are fine. I'm nice and limber now. It's all good, Sitting around naked, playing video games naked. I even stood up for a little, had a nice naked stretch. Did some jumping jacks, just to hear that lovely sound. It was brilliant. No, in all seriousness, it was nice to just have a little bit of downtime this morning and back to normal. But it was just a little glimmer of hope that maybe things can get back to normal. And then I see some of the decisions being made across the country, and I'm thinking they're going to steer us into a second wave, aren't they?
If you've been affected by the issues raised by Liam or the thought of him doing jumping jacks naked in his front room, then please do contact the Samaritans, your GP, or just a friend or relative, really.
Or me. I have video. I'm open-minded. I'm willing to share.
Oh man, I'd rather have the thought of you doing jumping jacks dressed as Mongo's dog.
If there was a facility in which we could raise enough money for charity, I'll be happy to. Naked, dressed as a dog, or the coup de grace, I'd do jumping jacks. Dressed as Kevin Sullivan, dressed as an old woman.
An old lady, yes.
I would do the double whammy. It would be like the bird inside the bird roast,
Yes. Oh, the 3-bird roast.
Oh, yes.
And I'm sure I've read somewhere in the Middle East, they do a similar thing with different animals cooked inside other animals, and the largest animal that everything is housed in is a camel. And that what a Toby Carvery that would be.
Do you know what? I was having this wonderful picture of all these lovely meats in my mind, and then you bring up a camel, and now I've just got the ump.
Hey.
Listen up, slap nuts. That's right. This is Jeff Jarrett, the chosen one, and you're listening to Because WCW. Now choke on that.
So you realise that we are putting this out on the first day of this being put out is September the 15th, 2020.
Yes.
Which is our 3rd birthday.
Happy birthday, Because WCW. I can't believe we've made it this far.
I can't believe we've been putting out this shit for 3 years and we're still on the air.
You know what? We're not a million miles away from outrunning Nitro.
This is true. We're not quite halfway there yet, but yeah, we're
still plenty of time for us to screw it up just like Eric Bischoff did.
Oh yeah. absolutely. Or for one of us to make horrendous racist comments to the Pro Wrestling Torch and get taken off the air, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, what a great episode we had. The last episode we did, if you haven't caught it yet, go back, find it, episode 71. We had a fantastic chat with Finley Martin, former editor of Power Slam magazine, regarding the legacy left by Monday Nitro as part of the Hooked on Wrestling Nitro week. A busy old week for us, but very rewarding. Great time.
Yeah, it was very strenuous. I think I was around 50 pieces of original content in that week as the features guy, like trying to help out with the original content there. But it was all great stuff. It was, I mean, I was chipping in with things like a day by day potted history of Nitro because it stretched across 7 different calendar years. So we did Monday to Sunday like that. We had people imagining what it'd be like if today's wrestling stars were there as part of famous Nitro angles.
I did love that. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, just a little bit of wacky thinking outside the box. People love all that stuff, and just a whole myriad of stuff. We had retro Nitro reviews. The head honcho Paul Benson was doing Nitro listicles, like top 10 moments, top 10 hidden, like underappreciated stars, guys like La Parker and that. It was just such a good, and it's all, if you go to hookedonwrestling.co.uk, go on the features menu, then Nitro Week, the archive is all sitting there for your reading pleasure. There's some great stuff there. Go back and relive it. Just because we've passed the 25th anniversary doesn't mean you can't just relive WCW every week, kind of like we do, Dean.
Kind of like we do. It's good. I like to think of it as a service to the community sometimes. But we are back with another Nitro Watchalong, which it feels like we haven't done one for ages. But we've been, as I said, we've been very busy. We've had a fair few guests lined up. But we are back with the Nitro Watchalongs. We've still got about a month and a half to go before it hits the 2-hour mark. So this one comes to 53 minutes. And this one is no April Fool. It is April the 1st, 1996. So if you remember previously, we had seen we'd seen Flair and the Giant end up in a no contest in a match for the World Heavyweight title. And Luger and Sting had beaten the American males to retain the tag belts, and we also unfortunately had a Booty Man match. But we reckoned this was the first episode, or possibly one of the first episodes that aired in the UK on a Friday night. As we were talking with Finley, the Friday night wars that we had in the UK between Nitro and Raw. So this is actually going up against a live Raw, so it's going to have to be a big episode to do the numbers against Raw. So yeah, if you want to watch along with us, then fire up your network or whatever you watch your old episodes of Nitro on. As I said, it's April the 1st, 1996. I'm primed on all the zeros. Are you ready, Liam?
I'm doing it the wild way. I'm actually going to click the thumbnail when we're ready. And so it's going to be real awkward if it goes into a massive loading. But I have faith in my browser. I have the utmost faith.
Well, yeah, you've been pounding that browser today. So
you can't prove
with the house
that.
yourself.
You can't prove that. I mean, you're absolutely spot on, but you can't prove it.
I was going to say he's not denying it, ladies and gentlemen. So here we go. We will press play in 3, 2, 1. Cue burning buildings. Oh,
hang on.
Oh, it's not burning buildings.
What the hell?
We are straight into the action with the Giant and Sting face to face in the ring.
Well, you did say they're up against a live Raw. It looks like they've. We just spat at the Giant.
Yeah. Jimmy Hart paid off Harlem Heat, and the Giant was scheduled to be Sting's tag partner in a match that was made on Saturday night. But we've now got Sting v the Giant, 1-on-1.
And this is definitely a match that you'd want to see as a pay-per-view main event, and pretty sure we will very soon, in fact. But yeah, we're going straight with it here. But yeah, I can't believe we don't have any burning. But I'm freezing, Dean.
The warmth of the burning buildings.
I bought
Mongo's
4
dog.
bags of marshmallows for nothing.
What we don't know what Mongo's poor dog is wearing or being
Well,
forced to wear.
thank heavens for small mercies. But if you remember, Dean, the Giant is on such a hot run. He looked the absolute man against Ric Flair, and obviously Flair is always the guy who will make you look $1,000,000. But he's in lean shape at this point of his life. He's young, he's fresh, and he's such a physical specimen. And it's easy to see why he'd end up with a belt very, very soon. But for now, he's doing the whistle stop tour of big matches against top wrestlers on Nitros.
Yeah, I did love that spot there where Sting went for a cross-body block and Giant didn't catch him. Sting just bounced off him and then caught a big elbow drop for his trouble.
And that was
ever since then, Sting's been on the back foot.
Yeah, it's worth noting that was at the end of a lengthy sequence as well. That was good coordination from both. They weren't like very simple plodding wrestling. These guys have been busting. They're only just having their first breather now.
Yeah.
This is now like typical Giant heel methodical style after that blistering start.
With the move of putting Sting, press slamming him from the floor over the top rope back into the ring. Giant went for a choke slam from the apron and Sting just kicked him off. And Luger's in now. So I think this is kind of an impromptu match because, as I said, Jimmy Hart had paid off the Giant to turn against Sting and not tag up with him against Harlem Heat.
We might have to look up that Saturday night angle now. At least we'll soon get to a point where everything will begin and end with Nitro. Because you'd imagine that Sting and Luger against Harlem Heat is the more, that's the traditional tag team match. So exactly why we were going to get Sting and a Giant against them, I don't know.
No, very odd combination.
But they gave a nice little non-match taste of Sting and Giant there. I was worried that they'd. Here's the burning buildings.
Yeah, here come the burning buildings.
Yeah, I was worried that they were going to give away the match completely on free TV, but I know we're saying it's about a show in retrospect, but if this was going now, they'd have left me wanting more. I'd want to see a pay-per-view main event between Sting and the Giant, and we will get that very soon.
Yeah, that looked pretty evenly matched. So we're in Cleveland, Ohio. And I think we've had our burning buildings. And I'm guessing right now we're going to see that poor, abused dog. Yeah. He's got a hat of some sort on.
Oh, man. Is that a snakeskin cowboy hat?
I'm trying to work out what that dog is wearing. So the Giant was meant to be a substitute for Lex Luger. But Giant wasn't allowed to defend the belts on Luger's behalf. But Luger's obviously fine. Oh, here we go. We're getting a recap of what Jimmy Hart was doing before Nitro went on air. Giving a big envelope to Harlem Heat.
There's a check in there. They're looking at the figures on the check.
Do you remember checks?
Yeah, vaguely.
See, you couldn't do this angle nowadays, could you? Like with Jimmy Hart on his phone, getting their PayPal details and transferring it over.
So that's curious, because obviously Jimmy Hart is the one link between Luger, who does hold one half of the tag titles, and the Giant. It's a very tenuous link, as we've seen in weeks, because they're really playing Luger in the middle of all this. But it does feel weird, like we're watching the secondary show still.
Yeah, So we've also got a triangle tag match, as they've called it, with the Road Warriors, the Steiner Brothers, and Public Enemy, and this is the Nasty Boys. Beg your pardon, they said Public Enemy.
Yeah, I did
Um,
hear Public Enemy. You're right.
so Nasty Boys, Steiners, and Road Warriors.
So if you think about it, Dean, these are the two teams that the Road Warriors have defeated with underhanded tactics in recent weeks,
Yes,
and yet carried on as if they're baby faces anyway. So, although the whole story is a confusing mess, at least we might be getting some sort of payoff here. In
yeah,
what is, but on paper, it's a loaded tag division. It's just a shame that half the matches are pants.
it is a loaded tag division at this point in time. You got these three teams. Obviously, you got Sting and Luger. You got Harlem Heat. You got Public Enemy.
Plenty of undercard duos like the American Males and things like that. You can just go so many. This was a point in their history they could have easily brought back the US tag titles. Really,
That's true.
do you remember the US tag titles?
I do, but I do think less is more. I do prefer there just being
You
one
you
tag title.
you say that, Dean, but do you remember the US tag title match between these two teams going at it right now at Havoc 90? That was for the US
for the
tag
US
titles.
titles?
Yeah.
Okay. What a show. We will review that one day.
Oh, yes, please.
I've been talking with someone and potentially lining that one up. But what a match that was. I fondly remember it.
Please do sort that out. I can't wait for that. And we've both got plenty of anecdotes about that match in particular.
So now we've got Animal and Knobs in the ring, and Animal just went for a flying shoulder tackle. Knobs evaded him. Animal caught his throat on the ropes, and now Sags comes in, and he's just windmilling Animal, but right into his own corner, and he's made the blind tag. And now Scott Steiner tagged out by tapping Sags' head.
Yeah,
I
like
guess that's how
clipped
you
him
tag
around
out.
the ear roll sort of style, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Pump handle. So I've got to say, these six men, only one of which at this stage is particularly dynamic, and he's like loaded up at this point, if you know what I mean. They're using the fact that there's six people to tag in and out to keep this at a nice pace early on. It's
Yeah.
all action because no one has to do more than 30 seconds of work.
You'd
Time.
think by now that that Road Warrior Hawk would know not to shoulder charge someone in the corner. It never ends well for him.
That's all right. He'll fix that by getting pole driven, and he'll feel right as rain.
Oh, okay.
He had some quirks in the ring, didn't he?
That's one way of putting it. Big neck breaker. So yeah, as you say, it's the same with the three-way singles match that you have. In that instance, you have one guy usually out the ring, the other two getting involved, and then you just flow in and out like that. But with this, you got double that number, so yeah, you should have plenty of rested wrestlers and fast flowing action.
Yeah, I've seen people bemoan the whole nature of a three-way match where it's technically a singles match with someone resting. But if you're doing it in a tag team style with people in the apron, absolutely use that to your advantage. Don't get me wrong. If it's a triangle singles match with three in the ring at the same time, you want to see you end up expecting more interaction and more like three person moves and spots and holds. You'll remember that match. You were there at FWA British Uprising 1, Dean, when they had that opening match, and they made a point of doing moves that involved all three participants. But with a tag, you can just relay.
Which is kind of what's happening, except for that Scott Steiner's been singled out, which is your classic tag team strategy.
Yeah,
So
even that's a good narrative, and he's the man to do it as well, because none of the others would. They'd all be sucking wind at this stage.
Yeah. So there's a tag being made, but I don't think the ref saw it. But is he letting it go? I think he's letting it go. Yes.
See, that's kind of defeated the whole story that we're praising. That's just defeated
Yes.
it.
Cheers, Nick Patrick.
They could hear us in a time machine praising the way they've gone about this match. Let's completely defeat everything we've done so far. They're
So,
plugging the lethal lottery at Slamboree on May 19th, and that's just giving me Kane flashbacks.
and it's broken down now into just a wild brawl. The crowd are on their feet. As soon as it broke down, the crowd absolutely loved it. Now, isn't there no disqualification in a three-way match?
Yeah, they could maybe throw the match out if they're just not going to compete. No, he's got it back under control, or has he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're back to 2 people in the ring and 4 people on the outside.
Because one distinction I would like to see made more, to be honest, in wrestling, Dean, is as much as you shouldn't do it because it can annoy the crowd, if they're promised a no disqualification match, it can be ruled a no contest.
Mm.
Because if they're just going to go and brawl and not go in the ring where you need a decision, the ref's just got to go, look, we're not getting a match here. You've got to wipe this one off. But
Well,
yeah,
what
you
a
got to be
bump from
careful
Rick
doing that.
Steiner.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that, but I don't think it would be received very well, let's say that.
No, I mean, on TV tapings, you've got a little bit more of leeway to do non-finishes, as long as it's going somewhere eventually.
Yeah,
Off the top of my head, I can't remember what these 3 teams did with each other at the next couple of pay-per-views, if anything.
I'm not sure off the top of my head. I'd have to look at that. So it's Spring Stampede is the next one, isn't it? We said
I don't think there's a Spring Stampede 96. I think we're straight to Slamboree. Yeah.
Sorry, Slamboree.
It,
With the lethal lottery.
it's very confusing because, they had a Spring Stampede in 94 and it would come back.
Yeah. So Scott back in. The Steiners have really done badly in this, and in that they've been on the receiving end of everyone else's offense, really.
And after all the frantic tagging in, tagging out, after having Scott Steiner worn down for a little bit, after having the brawls on the outside, there's Scott Steiner and Animal doing a test of strength.
Mm.
Hit the reset button on this. There was definitely not there definitely wasn't an agent overseeing this match, was there?
But also, it's interesting. Bischoff in commentary is pushing how unpredictable Nitro is, and I think he's very much aware that Raw is live, and yeah, we've already started with an unscheduled, impromptu, cold open match of Giant and Sting. So I think he's definitely trying to keep hold of people, telling them what's coming up later on, telling them it's unpredictable.
Eric, the poor sod, he surely he doesn't have a clue what to do now. He's got no results to give away.
Yeah. Not to mention that next week Raw is unopposed. Our next Nitro for some reason is 2 weeks away.
We'll have to look into why with that, won't we?
Mm. Big elbow and a flying 3 count from Nick Patrick. And here we go. It's breaking down again. Oh, this crowd love it when they start brawling by the guardrails.
Yeah.
You got this great visual of where you can see the crowd that's facing the hard cam all rise to their feet as one.
So, quick side question, assuming that I don't talk over the finish by accident, Dean. Have you ever worked on a show where the crowd has shown to be particularly lively when they get that close interaction to the stage where those backstage have called an audible and made like a future match go a bit more in the crowded to take advantage of it? You ever seen anything like that?
Well, when the match is the matches where that kind of thing would happen is mostly where I'm commentating. So if there is an audible called, I wouldn't know about it because I'm at the commentary desk.
Fair enough.
The ones where I'm the main one where I'm managing these days is one where you wouldn't get that kind of action happening. It's more traditional. But I mean, as far as as a manager, I'd certainly watch the opening match and get gauge what members of the audience are reacting most and what things are getting over, and be aware of that and pass that information on.
Do managers look for hot zones around ringside,
Yes,
like a particular
absolutely.
side where there's going to be more?
Yeah, and then
Ah,
you keep it in your head if you need to get the crowd up again.
yeah.
If you don't need it, if the crowd are good, the crowd are good. But you've got that in your back pocket if you need to get the crowd up again. That's where you go to. Yes.
It's interesting to think of it that way. That a lot of managers, yourself included, you look like you're just prowling around ringside, but sometimes there's a method to the madness. It's really good thinking about little things like that.
Mm. So now we've got Knobs and Hawk and a bulldog from Knobs.
Brian Knobbs just innovated one of Raven's biggest trademarks. He did the corner clothesline bulldog combo. Raven thieved from Brian Knobbs. You heard it here first.
Oh, and now Scott Steiner and Jerry Saggs don't want to sell a goddamn thing for each other. Something's gone wrong here.
This entire match is being improvised. I mean, there's been a lot of moves and spots repeated. This is going a lot longer than it probably should have.
Yep.
I'm not quite sure why. It's not been.
Right.
I don't think anything about it has been bad, but they are really starting to repeat themselves a bit.
We had a great German suplex from Rick Steiner on Knobs a little while ago, and now those two are back in the ring. Yeah. And Knobs went to go up to the middle rope, and he was intercepted by Rick, who's trying for a. Oh man, Rick Steiner was trying for a middle rope belly to belly. He just got clobbered from behind by the Road Warriors, and then just took a tumble over the middle rope, over the top rope to the floor. Didn't look like he had a very good landing.
Did you see Knobs' cue for that as well? Knobs did the little point to come and knock us out.
Oh, I didn't spot that. And there was a cover that the cameraman completely missed, or the director at least completely missed.
Yeah, this has been all action.
But, here come Public Enemy.
And one of them is dressed as Knobs. And he's going to let Scott Steiner pin him.
That's what's his name? That's Johnny Grunge.
Mate, I think we've got our thumbnail for this episode.
I think we have. I mean, that's right up there with Kevin Sullivan dressed as an old woman.
But not quite. It's a close second.
I'd forgotten Johnny Grunge's name for a moment there, but yeah, that was Johnny Grunge. So Rocco Rock in his normal gear just attacked the Nasty Boys, while Johnny Grunge dressed as a Nasty Boy. There we go, getting the replay now.
I'm shocked that finish hasn't been done more, to be honest.
Mm.
And he went in the ring and just went dead weight and let Scott Steiner cover him.
And then scoots out of the ring quickly.
Yeah. With a look of guilt on his face.
Christ on a bike, it's
the
fucking booty man.
Well, at least his tag team partner will bring it up and, oh wait, it's Hulk Hogan. Shit.
Yeah.
And the good news is that Sullivan and Arn Anderson are friends again. Anyone keeping score at home, they're okay this week.
Oh, and did you see that on Saturday night? Lex Luger's got to defend his TV title against the Giant.
It really feels like we've missed oh my God. Ric Flair against the Booty Man.
Poor Ric Flair.
If that is a 3-star match, the broomstick rule there's no denying it.
Come on, Ric Flair tried to get a match out of Elegante once.
I think I'd rather watch that than the Booty Man.
Fair enough.
At least El Gigante as a big, tall, bumbling klutz, I should say. At least
I
that's
like
believable.
crumbling.
Yeah, I think I've made a thing there, haven't I?
Yeah.
Can't even get my chapters and my episodes in the right order.
So yeah, here we
Elizabeth
go.
is in leather. I repeat, Elizabeth is wearing leather.
Whereas a woman is wearing a silver sequined evening dress.
It's strange watching the two of them come out to the Dungeon of Doom music, even if it does mean that technically Kevin and Woman are side by side.
Indeed. Oh, this isn't going to be good, is it? This is going to be a demonstration of Arn Anderson's selling ability, basically.
I honestly thought we were past these combinations. We've been watching these combinations with and without the Booty Man since Nitro started. In fact, when we were first enduring these combinations as part of Watchalongs, I'm pretty sure that Ed Leslie was on the other side.
Yeah, and I'm just checking as to how many more Hogan appearances
I was
we've
gonna
got.
say, on the plus side, this might be it if we're lucky.
No, there's one coming up still next week, but I think that's it.
It's just amazing watching how dated this routine is.
Yeah,
And Bischoff and WCW couldn't believe it when 3 years later their ratings were going through the toilet with red and yellow Hulk Hogan back again.
yeah. This is the red and yellow Hogan's penultimate appearance for this era at least.
Yeah. I think I've said in the past, like, obviously there's always you see how wrestling cycles. Even while he was Hollywood, everyone knew there would be that moment in the future where he'd do the big return to ring, and everyone would love it. But obviously, with him in red and yellow in '99 as the star of the show and the world champion, with everyone watching Raw and everyone abandoning Nitro and WCW by the truckload, it was really embarrassing. And that's still 3 years from this point.
Yeah. I mean, when he went back to WWE in like 2002, that there was the big nostalgia pop, but that lasts for a short amount of time.
Very short. You remember they put the belt on him and they had to take it off him a month later. It basically the good reception for that left the building when Hogan did with the belt.
So now, I was just about to say now Booty Man's in control, but no, Arn Anderson has taken over.
And I'm going to carry on this line of thought because I really don't want to have to pay attention to this match. You'll remember, Dean, they recalibrated it in WWE at least by moving it into a tag team with Edge,
Yeah.
which was a little more enjoyable to watch. He actually had an underrated match with Kurt Angle and tapped out to the ankle lock. Remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
That was King of the Ring 2002. That's what he should have been doing at this stage of his career. Just wrestling anyone on that roster who weren't there the last time he was there, which was most of them.
Yeah.
Just running through all these matchups. You got to try and get him to bat 500, obviously, because you don't want to have him lose every time. It loses its meaning. But yeah, he definitely shouldn't be beating the Kurt Angles and stuff in 2002. And that's how you use him. But he got sick of it when they wanted him to lose twice to Brock Lesnar. He didn't want any piece of it. So he left after the first loss to Lesnar.
Hooray. Team player, the Hulkster.
I mean, that first one was a good one. It was right before Brock faced The Rock at SummerSlam for the title.
Yeah.
And they did the whole referee stoppage, Hogan spitting up blood. It was a big thing. But in Hogan's mind, it it led to him coming back after time off and beating Brock Lesnar. That was how it worked in his head.
Yeah, which would have no payoff, no meaning.
No.
So Arn Anderson wants Hogan, and he gets Hogan, and there's still a pop from the crowd for Hogan coming in.
Yeah, it sounds a bit mixed, but there was a bit of a pop. This will be Hogan's chance to get another pin on Anderson, I'm presuming.
Bit more revenge after he lost twice to him.
I mean, Arn's just got his routine down pat. He knows how to be in position for all the usual Hogan bits and to throw in the extra animations and that as well. That's one good side of the familiarity, I suppose.
But again, yeah, we've seen Hogan beat both of these guys and another 6 in the uncensored cage not too long ago. So where's the intrigue in this?
They just did the thing where Hogan covered Anderson. Sullivan came in to drop an elbow on Hogan. Hulk moves and he hits Arn. So I guess they're not friends now. They'll be friends again in 30 seconds and they'll be at each other's throats before the finish.
Quite possibly. This is just a nondescript match, isn't it?
It's just vanilla tag formula at
Yeah,
a very
there.
low speed because these aren't the guys who are going to do it in a particularly athletic manner.
No.
Big elaborate thing being set up here to give the heels the advantage, I think.
Yep, blind tag.
And Hogan's incensed. Incensed, I said. So much so that he wants to let them double team a bit more because he's distracting the ref. Yeah. You fucking moron, Hulk.
But I don't think there's anyone better at the whole blind tag routine than Arn Anderson. He's tremendous at that. Knowing when to do it, how to do it, what to do immediately afterwards. Brilliant stuff.
He does hold the key to tag team wrestling. Oh. And here comes Woman, who, as we've seen in various shows, loves to cheat for absolutely no reason sometimes. Even when it's not necessary, she'll add some cheating.
Oh, yeah.
Elizabeth would just stand there.
And clap.
And clap.
Oh, come on, let's just get this fucking match over and done with, please. Chant from the crowd for the booty girl.
Yeah. There's definitely more reason to watch on the outside of the ring than there is on the inside.
Despite Arn Anderson's best efforts.
Yeah, I mean he's going through the routine here. It's colour by numbers. He does it in an entertaining fashion, but it's all very much. This is, I suppose, the common phrase. This is a house show match, isn't it? This is what wrestlers normally run on the circuit when there's no TV cameras rolling.
Yeah, and the crowd now are quiet, not really particularly engaged. Looking at the crowd by the hard cam, some people are kind of like just talking to each other or not paying attention. It'd be interesting to see if there's how much of a pop there is when Hogan finally gets the hot tag in. And there it is. And it's very, very lukewarm now. And I think it is. There's no intrigue. Hogan has dispatched of all of the villains.
Yep.
And there's no one left for him to take on.
And it was a bit of a lazy routine as well. There wasn't much suspense to it. It's not like this is Ricky Morton selling, is it?
No.
It is just all. I've seen worse wrestling, but this is all just basic, tedious stuff.
and Booty Girl is taking her shoe off.
Well, if she can.
And as we know,
Because I
Nitro has
think
taught us that a woman's shoe is the most
there's one
dangerous
on the
weapon
other
in the
side.
world.
That's why, yeah.
Yes.
Elizabeth slipped a shoe to the heels. I mean, considering, as you said then, considering they've been using this as a weapon for weeks, the finish is it's a good storytelling payoff. And now the women are getting at it.
Oh, they could have got there in half the time, though.
Yeah, I agree. The finish was the only good thing about it. Oh, and Liz in leather. There's woman's high heel that went in first. Although they didn't really do a good job of portraying it, they got the Booty Babes heel as a counteract. Oh God.
Poor Kimberly's had to smooch the Booty Man.
Do you remember how in 2006 people were mocking Triple H and Shawn Michaels for doing their DX routine and acting like teenagers at like the age of 40?
Yeah.
And 10 years before that, we had this.
Oh, something's happening in the ring, apparently, according to. Well, I think they've just assaulted the Booty Man after the match.
I'm just trying to check to see if Kevin Sullivan quickly threw on an old lady's outfit to do so. Nah, I don't think he did.
Don't
That was a
think so,
shame.
no.
That would have made it a 5-star match.
Oh, here comes Mean Gene. They are doing everything they can to get Hogan's mate, the Booty Man, over with the crowd, aren't they?
Yeah, and it is not working.
It's not working. No, not in the slightest.
Another replay of the finish, because that's what we need.
Yep.
£4 or £5 shoe, says Bobby Heenan.
Yep. It's time for Mean Gene.
Whatever you do, don't mention how bald Hulk Hogan is. Let's see what this is about. Hogan said the result was a shoe-in. I like that. The crowd are booing this Hogan promo. They just look so daft and so dated, don't they?
Yep. Well, Booty Man's got something that's going to turn the tables, apparently.
Keep
He's
Ed
asking
Leslie off
Hogan
the mic.
to be his partner.
They're insinuating there's going to be some sort of stipulation. So they're not telling us what the stip is, but apparently Booty Man's got an idea.
Well, we'll clearly have to tune in 2 weeks' time.
I'm almost scared to check out.
Who had the idea of putting the Booty Man on the mic?
Yeah, this is painful, isn't it?
They were kicking your brains in.
This
They're
is
going to
still
get
going
revenge on
on.
the women as well.
Yeah. Just to be clear to our listeners, this promo hasn't ended. It is still going on.
I think the Booty Man might have just had a seizure. I'm not sure.
Oh, God.
Well, we've got Flair and Luger for the title up next. That's a pair of familiar foes.
Yeah, I've definitely run that combination on Nitro before, I want to say, but it should be a better match than that.
Yeah. Now, looking ahead to the next episode of Nitro, we have Anderson and Sullivan facing Hogan in a 2-on-1 handicap match. So, unless something had happened between this show and the next Nitro, the surprise was let's just not involve Ed Leslie in the match at all, which I mean is a decent stipulation, I have to say.
Yeah.
Here comes your favourite Luger.
So I'm trying to figure out what was going on with it as well.
So Luger is the tag champ, or one half of the tag champs, and the TV champ, and now he's going for the world title just to get all the belts. Well, I say all the belts. Obviously, there's the US title still knocking around at this point, which is held by Conan, isn't it?
Yeah, in a curious situation. But yeah, so Luger so far on this show has been very much just a babyface. I don't know if
Yeah.
we've missed something there, or they've just decided to strip him of his best elements, but that's where we are at this moment.
So Liz and Woman are back out with Flair.
He's shouting
Flair, he
Luger
looks like he's
on
on.
his way,
Yeah, Flair's on one.
which is how we want it.
Oh yeah.
When he flexes his muscles, you know he's feeling it because no offense, obviously as a wrestler he was in great physical condition, but the biceps weren't the strong point.
He was just having
Oh,
some bants with Deborah.
and Mongo's gone quiet.
Says Flair's got good taste.
He might
No,
be a low life, but he's got good taste. So
no,
that
I
is
think I'm
the
right in
beginning of
saying-
that.
Sorry. Yeah, I think I'm right in saying that Steve and Deborah and Michael were married for something like 13 years when he was an NFL player. All was fine and dandy. After 1 year together in the wrestling business, they got divorced.
You said that with a fake surprise tone.
I'm sorry.
That's wrestling for you.
Was Heenan saying what are they talking about future endeavours to Heenan for? I don't know what he's on
Yeah,
about
I
there.
did hear that future endeavours phrase. And I
Having
think they
some
mentioned
time off.
something about it earlier, but I didn't catch all of it, so I didn't make reference to it.
No.
I don't know if they're easing towards Heenan having some time off of Nitro, because I know he does have a very short-lived return to be a manager, which is tied into what we just saw with Deborah. And by the way, that title still has Macho Man on it.
Does it?
I really want to believe that Ric Flair did a promo on Saturday night to say he's keeping it there to antagonise him. Otherwise, that is so WCW.
Oh, very much so.
Jesus wept.
So let's see if Luger is a complete heel, a complete babyface in this.
Oh, you have to believe he will be. I mean, if you
Yeah.
remember at Starrcade '95, he went into that when he had that portion of the match where he was in there with Ric Flair. He absolutely that's just the way they wrestle, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the tried and tested routine with these two. I mean, these guys have been wrestling each other since what, 88?
Yeah, maybe earlier. I don't know, but yeah, you're right.
And so far, yeah, it's classic babyface Luger.
You've still got a little bit of time left on the show, and you have to presume that this is the main event. So they're doing the slow
is
burn,
indeed.
aren't they?
Yep.
Woman and Elizabeth bantering about something.
Flair's selling like a demon.
Well, we saw right from the start that he's up on this night. He's up for it.
Your typical Lex Luger, Ric Flair press slam spot, but the crowd aren't reacting too much to it.
Yeah.
Do you know what the thing the crowd have reacted to the most were the Nasty Boys, the Steiners, and the Road Warriors brawling by the guardrails.
And I'd understand this situation if this was Philadelphia, for instance, but this is Cleveland.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Cleveland, Ohio. You're being very much a hardcore counterculture audience at the moment.
Mm. So yeah, so far as you say, this is being wrestled at a reasonably deliberate pace, isn't it? A slow pace. Which is what Flair's great at making. It just makes the title match seem more prestigious, basically.
Gorilla Press number 2.
Yep.
What's the over under? I think you put the bet in around 4, wouldn't you? Like 3.5.
4
So
press slams in the match.
yeah, so you put the betting line at 3.5. You either bet that there'll be 4 or more, 3 or less. You're currently at 2. I'm confident we haven't seen the last Gorilla Press.
We shall see.
Flair slowing it down a little bit now. With the offense, I should say, because obviously we had a slow start as well.
Yeah. Catches Luger charging into the corner with an elbow, and now we get the Flair strut. And another double bicep pose, and he is really slowing it down, isn't he? He's like, I think he just can't be arsed this
Look
week.
at the round of applause from the hard cam fans. This is definitely a wannabe smart crowd, isn't it?
Yeah.
They booed Hogan. I can't blame them for booing Hogan, but obviously that's the contrarian reaction as well. They're cheering for Flair, and they want the wrestlers to go fight in the crowd.
Mm. No, it's definitely a kind of counterculture crowd, and Flair is throwing a temper tantrum.
He's doing everything he can to get this crowd to boo him again, and they're just eating it up with a spoon.
Yeah.
First time he's drawn boos in the whole match is by threatening to walk out.
But again, even the walk back into the ring is all done at a deliberate pace.
Bischoff kind of backpedaling after calling woman hot. So not hot looking, but hot as in angry at how things are going. Flair just casually putting spots in Luger's ear there.
Yeah, that was not hard to spot at all. And more, and again, and there's a third press slam. You were right.
All right, one more and the betting sways. So will it be 3 and under, which is where it precariously sits, or will one more put the betting money on in favour of the 4 and over? Could have done an over-under on clotheslines, but that would have been something like 27.5.
If Betfair did Nitro, this is.
Oh, I'd have loved that. It'd been fun. I mean, it's live every week, so why not?
He said,
Most
just said,
weeks.
didn't say why, but just said Nitro preempted next week. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time.
Without the
Liz,
advertised tag match, thankfully.
Liz and woman have been run off down the aisle.
It
Whether they
was a
come back or not
ruse.
remains to be seen. Yep, they're back.
It was all to get Luger away from the ring. So as he went to come back, Flair could knee him into the guardrail. And of course, women adds the obligatory thumb to the eye.
Of course. Is that like Harley Race's obligatory pay-per-view bump?
Yes. It was Flair. It was on the Bash at the Beach recap we did a few weeks ago, wasn't it? Where Flair knocked Conan out for the cover, put his feet on the ropes anyway, and thumbed him in the eye after the 3 count. In the greatest thing I've seen you've got to get someone to copy that at a wrestling show. Then you have to.
Whenever we get wrestling shows back.
Just glorious cheating there from Flair. It's been a very cute. Oh, here's the figure 4. I was going to say it's been a very curious show. It's been a very old school reel of matches, even with a cutting edge, state of the art, ahead of its time triangle tag team match. They were trying to work it in the ring and going back to their old habits and running out of moves early. You had the vanilla bland tag formula just now with Hogan and co. And now we're getting this vintage slow burn Flair title defense.
It's all sort of tried and tested familiar routines, isn't it?
And it's not the crowd for it, is it?
No, because I think, on paper against the live Raw, this is, star power. You've got all of the big WCW stars. You've had Giant, Sting, Luger, Flair, Hogan, all involved. The Road Warriors, the Steiners, they're all involved. But it just hasn't really hit, has it?
It's just how the matches have been structured more than anything. And this is the best example because, Flair does this match in his sleep and it's usually very good. But they're having to really work to get the crowd's attention with it. Sunset flip it from the apron from Luger.
With the old referee spot, kicking the hands away.
They are starting to tune this crowd into their style. It's taken stubbornness and hard work, but they're doing it.
Yeah, but we are clearly manoeuvring ourselves into the finishing sequence.
Oh, yeah.
You can tell the way things are heating up.
Just gets over for the Flair flop.
I thought he was going to get chucked off the top again.
That would have counted as a gorilla press as well.
Well, in that case, we've had one of them already, so that was your 4.
Ah, good spot.
See, I wouldn't count that as a gorilla press. That's more of a chucking him off the top rope.
Oh, it is. The throw is
Here you go.
A gorilla
Here's
press.
your 4. Oh, I thought that was going to be your 4th gorilla press.
I teased it. What has the woman got?
A cup of coffee or something, apparently. Allegedly, it's got steam coming out of it.
The finishes are getting lame.
And the feet on the ropes. the feet on the ropes as well.
He's mooned Luger with the tights as well.
Here comes Sting.
So they've completely disregarded everything about Luger's character. He's just suddenly full babyface now.
At the moment, we will see what happens later on with him. But yeah, this week at least, to fit in with the Sting match, Luger and the finish, Luger was full-blown babyface.
And there's the
And
biceps.
Flair is now during with the fans whilst disappearing like a thief in the night.
He's an absolute loon. Good match, and I'm very impressed. They dragged this crowd kicking and screaming into it because the old school style of wrestling, the call it in the ring, the formula, the limited move set, just wasn't washing with this crowd, was it? The
No.
stale acts, and no, but these two managed to pull the crowd into it right at the death.
Having said that, I think, I don't know, this could be verging into the thumbs down territory for me. It's hard to say totally, but
Pass
it's
foul, I'd let this one go because you know what
just
the
about,
tag match was
just
all
about.
action. The finish was hilarious. I think I enjoyed all three finishes, even though the actual finishes were ridiculous. Like to have an imposter thrower match, to
Oh,
have
that was great.
dueling high heels, and then a hot coffee finish. You know what? They're all daft as arseholes, but I enjoyed the finishes. Two of the matches were good enough. One of them wasn't awful.
Ah, Heenan wasn't really leaving. It was an April Fool. There you go.
Ah. So they've paid off that gag.
Yeah.
He was leaving the Nitro broadcast team, but it was an April call.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure this didn't air live before noon.
No.
Because you know the rule, it has to happen before
Yeah.
midday.
So they're then talking, and there ends the episode. They're then just talking about Booty Man and Booty Babe in a mixed tag. I don't know if that was for this week or what, but just by comparison, certainly over on the live Raw that we had, they had Mankind against Bob Holly, Mark Merrow v Isaac Yankem, Skip and Zip v Aldo Montoya and Barry Horowitz, and the Undertaker against Justin Hawk Bradshaw. So not exactly a stellar lineup.
No, and I can't believe Isaac Yankem was still a thing at that stage.
Still around, yeah.
I
Still
can't
around.
believe he lasted to the first Nitro.
Yeah. So yeah, Nitro returns in 2 weeks. And we have Hogan against Arn Anderson and Kevin Sullivan in a handicap match. So unless something happens to Booty Man on the way to the ring, I don't know. But other than that, the match is exactly the same as what we've just seen, because we've got Public Enemy against Nasty Boys. We have the first Nitro appearance of Earl Robert Eaton. Where he takes on Randy Savage. So will we have the Randy Savage formula?
I
And
would
then
bet
our
money
main,
on it.
yes, and our main event will be Sting and Luger defending the tag titles against Flair and the Giant. So it looks like Luger's just gone back to being a full-on babyface.
Yeah, and bear in mind, the week before this one, Flair and the Giant going at it for the title.
Yeah,
It's all very hodgepodge, and I would just only hope that if we were watching the Saturday nights as we went along as well, I can only hope that that would add a little bit more storyline context. Otherwise, they're just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks, and that's not going to get it over the line. You'll notice how things picked up when the cohesiveness of the invasion angle started.
definitely. Yeah, I think right now they're just not really sure what to do with themselves until that time period comes along.
Because at this stage, you'd imagine that the negotiations are either complete or very on the verge. I'm not sure around when they signed the deals, to be honest.
Well, I'm just thinking their last. When was Hall and Nash's last appearances? I remember they were on a pay-per-view and they both had to lose clean. And then there's the 90-day no compete, isn't there? And obviously you can sign a deal with someone else, but you can't go in for 90 days. I'll have to look that one up because Hall debuts in May, so that means 3 months. No, it wasn't February that they went. It was definitely sort of March or April time. We'll have a look.
Yeah, but at least we're getting closer, and we do have a few significant things to come on Nitros until then. So once we get the
Yeah.
Hogan appearances out of the way, I'm sure we'll be fine.
Well, the next episode is the last Hogan appearance until he returns as a heel.
Things are getting interesting. We're getting there slowly but surely, Dino.
We are indeed. Right, well, that brings a close to episode number 72. Thank you so much for downloading this episode, wherever you get your podcast from. Please do spread the word. Please rate and review us and subscribe to this. And do follow us over on Twitter at BecauseWCW, Facebook.com/BecauseWCW. We will be back very shortly. We've got lots of exciting guests lined up. We're just... Well, like Scott Hall, we've just got to put pen to paper with some of them, but things are looking good. So, in the meantime, on behalf of Liam, this has been the Twisted Genius saying thanks for listening, and we'll see you ringside.